They are usually called personal computers since they are designed to be used by individuals. The microchip technology has enabled reduction of size of computers. Microcomputers can be desktop, laptop, notebook, or even palm top. So then we have what we call the notebook, an extremely lightweight personal computer. Notebook computers typically weigh less than 6 pounds and are small enough to fit easily in a briefcase. So you have that. We have also the desktop. Then we have the laptops, which we talked, and then the palm top, and also your phones. So you look at it and dwell into that. So then we also have personal computers. So a personal computer has a monitor, a keyboard, a dry printer, and a CPU. So the CPU, the personal computer has a motherboard and several chips mounted on a circuit board. So the major components of the circuit board are microprocessor, RAM, ROM chips, and other supporting circuits. So microprocessor chip is like a brain of a human being, which contains circuits and register to perform arithmetic, logic, and control functions, i.e., it contains ALU and CU. These chips will be able to retrieve data from the input-output devices, manipulate and process a byte of data at a time. There is an address bus which is built in this chip to determine the storage size, storage locations of the data and the instruction of the program. So you can see this. We have the different microprocessors. We have the 8080, 8088, 8286, 83. These are the type of microprocessors that exist and the type of data and the clock speeds. You can look at that. We have the Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3. But right now things have changed. We have moved to Core i5, Core i3, Core i2, Core i1. So we have really moved, and Core 2 Duo. So they have also changed. Then classification based on the purpose. So we have general purpose computers and special purpose and dedicated computers. So general purpose, they just perform general purpose work. So if a computer performs general purpose work, it means that it can do any other general work. But special purpose dedicated for a given work, like maybe weather forecasting, dedicated. These are computers that even though they can perform various tasks, they are dedicated to specific applications. So now, quickly in your message box, can you give this? Which one of the following types of computers is commonly used in offices? You have supercomputers, mainframe, mini-frame, and microcomputer. Can you give your answer there? On your message box, can you give the answer? Which one of the following types of computer is commonly used in offices? Supercomputer, mainframe, mini-frame, or microframe? Can you type your answers on the chat box? Can you just type your answers?
The chat is disabled.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It is disabled.
The chat has been disabled, sir.
Are you sure?
Why are people chatting? Check, just check. Why are people chatting?
Microcomputer.
Yeah, but I'm seeing, and you're saying it's disabled, and I can see it. Just see on the screen, the messages are coming. To Ilaha, Mildred, Inviolata, Halai. I can see there are so many coming in. Then the next question, I can see most of you are giving microcomputers, which is right. So I can see all of you are giving answers. I can see. Then computers have continued to decrease in size, but the processing power has increased. True or false? Can you say if it's true or false? True. Can you just write if it's true or false? True. Computers have continued to decrease in size, but the processing power has increased. Can you give the answers online? Yeah, and I can see for the first one, the answer was the answer clearly was microcomputers, and it's true that actually computers have continued to decrease in size, but the processing power has increased. So that is true, and that is very true. So that is very true. So at least most of you have given, have accepted that it's true. So at least I can see your answers. So we can proceed. I think most of you have gotten what I want. Then now, characteristics of computers. So computers have a lot of characteristics. We have the issues of speed. Then we have the issues of accuracy. Speed, it means that it's very fast machine. Accuracy, the computer accuracy is consistently high. And then diligence, computers are free from monotony, tiredness, and lack of concentration. Then computers are versatile. A computer performs various tasks with ease, i.e. it can search for a letter, the next moment prepare an electricity bill, so it's versatile. It can do many tasks. Then power of remembering is another thing. Then computer has no intelligence quotient, so a computer cannot make its own decision. Then no feelings. Computer are devoid of emotions. They have no feelings or instincts. So application areas, they are applied in business, in banking, in insurance, in education sector. For example, you guys have been registering in the ERP. So that shows that you have actually applied education sector, marketing, all the adverts you see on TV, home shopping, the healthcare issues to do diagnosis systems, lab diagnosis, patient monitoring, especially in the ICU. They come in very handy when you're doing the ICU. Then pharma information systems is also very important. Then they also applied in the military and engineering. So engineering, we have structural engineering, industrial engineering, architectural engineering. They are also applied. So it's good to look at that. Then we have military. I'm just doing a recap because I want to go to the next topic. This is just a recap because we have already done part of it. Then we have in the military, for example, right now we have a war in Israel. Some of the missiles are controlled by computers, missile control. We have the military communication, military operations, and military planning. Most of them are smart weapon communications. Like the war you are seeing in Israel, they're using smart technology to be able to communicate. Then communication means to convey a message, an idea, or picture, or a speech that is received and understood clearly and correctly by the person for whom it meant. Some main areas in this category are the email chatting, Usenet, FTP, Telnet, video conferencing. Then we have the government. Then you have the budgets also, can also be applied in budgets. So what are the advantages of computers? Computers process tasks at a high speed. Therefore, quick response stores a lot of information, yet can be accessed very fast. They work for a long period of time without getting tired, hence same level of efficiency in performing tasks. Some activities can be automated, hence leaving personnel to attend to critical matters. They are high accurate in their working, hence precise reports. They can be used to perform variety of tasks, thus reducing the expense of purchasing a machine for each and every task. So the advantages of computerization in an organization are handling errors easily, easy storage and retrieval of information, increased efficiency, higher quality work, reduced costs, fast processing of information, sharing information, increased accuracy, improved moral of workers, reliability, then quick access and retrieval of information. So the advantages: no intelligent quotients, there's dependency, the environment, then there's no feeling. So those are the things that are very key. So reasons why people may resist the introduction of computers at their workplace. People also refuse because they feel that maybe they're going to lose jobs. People require skilled manpower. Computers have adverse effects on our health, fear of change, fear of failure, lack of understanding, and loss of control. So in this topic, you have learned that a computer is an electronic device that converts data into information. In defining computer, we related it to data, information, and programs. So we went further and looked at the evolution of computers. We were able to classify the computer before exploring the characteristics of the computer as well as the application in daily lives. So in our next topic, we will discuss the computer hardware, That is the physical, tangible parts of the computer. We will also look at each group of computer hardware available. For example, the input devices, output devices, the processing devices, and the storage devices. But before you go to topic 2, let us now see if you understood this. So, can you be able to define a computer? Can you quickly define to the chat box what a computer is? Then can you explain the characteristics of a computer? Then these 3 questions, I want you to answer these 4 questions very fast on your chat box. Define what a computer is. Briefly explain the characteristics of a computer. Then explain the major advances in computing technology since 1946 to present. But that one you can do it later. But can you just answer the first 2 so that we can see a recap? The first 2 questions, define what a computer is and explain the characteristics of a computer. Can I see people giving us what? And then give the characteristics below it. So I'm just observing to see if you're getting the logic of what you're doing. I can see people are what a computer is. Yeah, once we define a computer is, can you get the characteristics so that I can see what are the characteristics of a computer? Quickly, can you put that so that I can see? Just put all of them, don't put one. So I'm just seeing one, just saying a characteristic of a computer, versatile. Keep posting. I think you can see them. Keep posting. Keep posting. I think you can see they are flowing. Once you type, you can see yourself what you've written. Keep posting. Keep posting. Kindly mute your mic. Mute. So I can see you've gotten a clue of that, so I'm not going to dwell much into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the next topic. So you can see they are moving. This is what you're doing. You can see the messages are coming in, and I can see you already have an idea and a clue of what you're supposed to do. So I'm glad that you already know. So we can move to the next thing. So we move to the next topic. So you go and look at the notes. Look at the notes and look at the activities. So today we are going to look at, we are just doing a recap of topic 1. So we are going to topic 2. And we want to hammer now topic 2. So here we are looking at the basic computer hardware. And having learned about what a computer is in topic 1 and its history, as well as the various types of computer, it is now important for us to have a glimpse inside a standard desktop computer. This topic introduces you to the parts of a computer, also called the computer system. It explores the computer hardware besides mentioning the types, after which you will be walked through each type of hardware in details. So the topic has 8 sections. So today we are going to look at the basic computer organization, input, output, processor, memory, and buses, introduction to computer hardware, input devices and criteria for selection, processing devices, the CPU functions and components, primary memory and types, secondary memory, and the output device. So at the end of the chapter, the learner shall be able to explain the different computer units of a computer system, such as input, output, central processing unit, main memory, secondary storage, They should be able to explain the different units of a computer, interact with each other to give the user output, explain how information is stored in a computer, explain the different storage units of a computer, such as the byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte. So I want you to define, because we don't have time of putting you in groups, and you are many. Let me just say, can you define, can you explain what a system is on your chart? And can you explain what a computer system is? And can you explain what is meant by computer hardware? So quickly type onto your chart what those things are. The three things: what a system is, what is a system, what is a computer system, and what computer hardware is. Can you type the answers on your screen? And I'll be putting the screen on so that people can see what you're typing. So it is there. I hope you're seeing the screen. I'm going to make the screen wider. So can you define what a system is, what a computer system is, and what computer hardware is? Type on your screen, type on your chat box. I want to see if you have an idea of what a system is, what is hardware, and what is computer hardware. Those are the things I want you to make sure you type all of them. Then you release, you type enter, so that don't just type one, type all of them. Type the answers as they come as a group. What's a system? What's a computer system? What's computer hardware? Yes, I can see, guys, you're typing. I can see Talib Twaha. I can see Alex Steve, you've typed what a system is. I can see Vivian Otaru. I think I can see you. I can see what you're typing. I can see Franklin Nyongesa. I can see, wow, the computer is going off. Just a minute. Keep typing, keep typing.
Imetosha, tuendelee na mafunzo.
Those who are making noise, kindly mute. If you don't mute, you'll find yourself somewhere else. The likes of Faith Mutai, Sheila Saini, yeah, mute your mic. If you mute your mic, you find yourself somewhere in a room. If you don't mute, you'll find yourself removed from this lesson.
Ndio hapa. Computer system, hardware and system.
We, hawa tunapiga kelele bana. Si mute hizo microphone zenu bana.
Picha hizo za kompyuta. Sasa mwanangu pia iko tu kama huko. Iko tu sehemu kwani? Huko kwanza huko ndio kwenye. Sana jini.
Jina yangu iwezi apia tena hapa.
Hapa si ndio hii jina kwani ama si hapo? Simwache kuona. Working together is part of one action.
Tena unanimute bwana, huyu jamaa kaaje?
Watu wengine hawana. Wewe ni bwana machia watu. Kuna watu wengine wako online. Yes.
Mbona uone hizo kubwa pia venye.
Umesema yako na wapi? Bado inaendelea. Simu yake inaletanga tu ni before madini. Gohera. Polia. Oho. Nileta nini? Neno before hata nini?
Hata mara ya kwanza nimeshangaa.
Nyamazeni jamani.
Na mimi
Kama msichana kionaongea kinyamaza kilele.
For those who cannot mute, you will find yourself in a waiting room. For those who cannot mute, you will find yourself in a waiting room just now. For those who cannot mute, you find yourself in a waiting room.
yes.
Gireje namba ne ETS ne
Let me remove that one who's playing music.
yule msela watu usema siri.
Watu wengine wachokupanga. Kuchezea muziki.
Radiation square.
Hello, let's continue. I was a bit off, but internet issues, sometimes these technologies have a lot of issues. So let's continue. Kindly close that door. Mark D, kindly allow me to share the screen. Mark D, kindly allow me to share the screen.
Yeah, please go on, sir.
Yeah. So I think we had already said what we are doing here. So we had looked at the objectives. I think we're on objective number 4. Explain the different storage units. We had already done that, and we are on this activity. So on this activity, I can see from the charts, I think you've been giving what a system is and what a hardware is, and I can see you have a clue. I can see you have a clue of what a computer system is, what a system is, and what a computer hardware is. So we will proceed. So the basic computer systems. So hardware are the mechanical devices of a computer, identified as the physical or tangible parts of the computer. So computer hardware consists of interconnected electronic devices that you can use to control the computer operations, input, output. Software, this is the set of instructions that makes the computer to perform various tasks, mainly the intangible parts of a computer. And then we have data. Data consists of individual facts or pieces of information that they, by themselves, may not make sense to the person. So a computer primary job is to process these tiny pieces of data in various ways, converting them into useful information. So we have then what we call the firmware. The firmware are the computer users. So firmware are computer users. So you need to know this, and it's very important. So the computer system is already defined, and I can see you had a very good idea of what a system is. That's the hardware, we have the software, and these are the parts of our computer system. So let us look at now the information processing cycle. Putting all the parts named above together, a computer converts data into information by performing various actions on the data. These operations are part of a process called called the information processing cycle, which is a set of steps the computer follows to receive data, process the data according to instructions from a program, display the results, bring information to the user, and store the results. So the basic computer system interaction. The information processing cycle has 4 parts as shown above, and each part involves one or more specific components of a computer. So we have the input. During this part of the cycle, the computer accepts data from some source, such as the user or program for processing. Then processing, this is part of the cycle, the computer processing components perform actions on the data based on instructions from the user or program. Then we have the computer may be required to display the results of its processing, the outputs, then storage. This step, the computer permanently stores the results of it on a disk or other kind of storage media. As with output, storage is optional and may not always be required by the user or program. So we have computer hardware. Computer hardware refers to the physical components of a computer, such as the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the system unit, as shown in the diagram. So you can see in that diagram, you can see what a computer is, what a physical computer is. And I think it's a very what a physical computer is. You can see it very clearly on your screen. So can you mention on your chat box, can you mention the various parts of the computer that you may think make up input devices? Can you various parts of the computer that you think make up the input devices? Kindly type in.
CPU. CPU.
Don't tell me. Type on your chat box.
CPU. Mouse in input device. Modem. Keyboard in input device. How? Central processing unit. Penye kuna watu wajinga kambo pia. Watu wana na IT ni CPU na modem ba.
Ouais.
CPU. Machivu kana kote.
Mbona watu wanatusiana?
Unataka usikie mimi na mimi niko class.
Mute your mic.
Nime mute.
Sasa I can just listen.
Asija mute.
Asa umemute na unaongeza unanyamaza. Sasa umemute aje na bana.
Idiot.
Kama kelele unaomba. Mimi sijakataa ni yako, kwani umesema ni yangu?
Hawa ni binjana nini? Anafanya hivi.
Sikia masauti zenu na vicheko zenu hizo. Waone.
Na wewe si nyamazi.
Siwezi sema mbili.
Akijifanya serious yali.
Hawa ndio yani
maneno yenu.
Unafanya nini? Mimi sitaki nipange.
Yacha pesa zikoni anafanya ukiwa haya hapo tu nyumbani. Kwa hiyo ana business kwa mama yake kuna do. Mama yake ndio baba yao. Yaani walioa chief, mama yake ndiye alikuwa chief. Sasa hata pesa ana.
Jiambie tu kwa
Jana watu wanaangalia acha watu wacheke. Bwana. So English hata ingekuwa amemaliza lesson. Yaani anakuwa kila anakuwa ni haraka.
Tunapiga kelele hapa.
Wacha kupiga kelele. Makoti.
reality proximity use data.
Bukuku mnyamane.
Gate 4.
Nye.
Print ni 10. Print ni 10. Photocopy ni 5.
Oye, bukuku mnapiga kelele.
What did you be in a whole life is the objective versus mtu mmoja ajipeana pasi yote ana
Mnapiga kelele.
Kwa hii ni online meeting.
Alipiga kelele. Walimuita. Aliitwa na Ale. Wakamfanyia nini? Hawakumfanyia kitu mbaya.
Okay, so I can see you have a glimpse of what input devices are. So a personal computer useless if you cannot interact with it because the machine cannot receive instructions or deliver the result of its work. Kindly mute. Kindly mute. Mute. Magdi, help me to mute those who are just noise. Magdi, kindly help me to mute those who are noise.
Unaambia watu wa mute.
Kindly mute for me. So we can continue. I think you have a glimpse of what input devices are because I can see you've already mentioned them. So devices, a personal computer will be useless if we could not interact with it because the machine will not receive instructions or deliver the results of its work. So devices can be directly connected to a computer and under its control, in which case they are online or else separate from the computer, in which case they are offline. So input devices accept data and instructions from the user or from another computer system. There are various types of input devices, and these include the keying devices. So these are devices that allow direct entry into the computer by pressing a set of keys. Keying devices are an indispensable accessory for a computer. One of the most basic input devices is the keying devices, which are navigation, execution of processes, programming, and several other purposes. So several software-based applications directly derive their existence from keying device. For instance, social networking websites, programming languages, navigation over the computer menus, etc. utilize a keying device. So the best example here is the keyboard. And you can see what a keyboard is used to type data into the computer. It has special keys for computer commands called command of function keys. Data are typically entered through keyboards and displayed on the screen. EDU and PC users welcome improvements in this interface component. So features that make keyboards easier to use and more comfortable to use are now the keyboard. You can see the keyboard. We have the function keys, the home, and the arrow, the page up. All these keys are very important, and it's good to know each one of them. There are many functions. We have the function keys. So it's good to know all of the keyboard. And the way you can see here, we have all the functions here. So it's important to look at it into details and know how the keypad looks. Just like the normal typing screen, I know most of you have smartphones. We have a computerized screen where you have the function keys, you have the arrow keys, you have the down key, you have page up keys. Mostly, I've seen these keys on your smartphone. I think they're there because if you're using a smartphone, you have keys. Then the special keys. These are a list of keys of the keyboard that perform specific functions. These are the alphabet keys. The alphabet keys A, B, C, D. Very important, those keys. Then we have the navigation keys, also known as the arrow keys. They enable the user to move within the document they are working on. Then we have the numeric keys, which are also important. Then we have document readers, another input device. So we have already finished. You have looked at the keyboard, which has the following keys. I can just do a recap. Function keys. It has numeric keys, special keys, alpha keys, navigation keys, of course, numeric keys. Very important. Note that. Go into details and get to know what they are. Because from you have interacted with the keyboard, I know you have an idea. Then we have what we call document readers. Document readers is another input device that is of importance to the user, and which we will discuss. And which we will discuss in the document. The document. The document. Hello. So document readers are here. So another important device that is of importance to the user and which we shall discuss is the document readers. So the document readers, we have the document readers. We have the optical character recognition, the OCRI. Optical character recognition.
Yeah.
Optical character recognition, OCR, which recognition by OCR device, which is the optical character recognition device. So an optical character reader can recognize characters from this shape. The OCR techniques were primarily designed for manual, not mechanical input of data. OCR have advantage of not. Just a minute. Optical character recognition requires its own specially shaped characters. The shapes of these characters permit each recognition by OCR reading devices. An optical character reader can recognize characters from their shape. The OCR techniques were primarily designed for manual, not mechanical input of data. OCR have the advantages of not requiring special links, as in MICRI, to be discussed. So we are going to discuss about magnetic ink character recognition, which is the MICRI. MICR is what we call magnetic ink character recognition. So we are going to discuss that. One of the origin uses of optical character was in education and psychological testing. It lets research code data they derived from their projects. So with OCR reading devices, this data could be input to a computer for processing. Optical character recognition eliminates the delay and efforts of converting this data to punched cards. Test data was input directly from the documents. So optical character recognition is also used in other fields. The New York State Motor Vehicle Bureau uses OCR in its renewal of car registration, driver's license. The renewal of magazine subscription is collectively accomplished through the use of OCR. One of the uses of OCR supported devices is in cells. Tags carry OCR characters, and when an item is purchased, the cell tag is read by a device called a point of sale terminal. The point of sale terminal serves as a cash register, terminal, and an optical character recognition reading device. So you can see that. So what are the advantages? Later you can discuss, or in 2 or 3 people you can discuss the areas in real life where we can use the optical character recognition. What are the advantages and disadvantages of OCR? So that's what I'm leaving you as an assignment as we finish this class. Kindly look at that. Then we have the optical character, optical mark reader, the OMRI. The OMRI is a system of reading marks or lines which have been made in exactly the right position on a card or a document. It allows the direct transfer of data from source document to computer. Information is collected on a pre-printed OMRI form by making predetermined position with a pencil or pen to indicate each selected response. And I think this OMRI is what was used to mark your KCPE. Optical mark reader is what was used to mark your KCPE. So large volumes of data can be collected and easily without the need for specially trained staff. So a device called an optical mark reader converts the mark into computer readable data. The reader detects the presence of a mark on a form by sensing reflected infrared light. The software in the reader interprets the marks into meaningful characters, which can be passed to the computer for storage and analysis. So advantages is that sensitivity can be altered to allow for different surfaces and pencils and inks. Has a better recognition rate than OCR, can be prepared where data originates. Errors are easily corrected. Disadvantages: mark readers are relatively slow. Verification of mark data is difficult. The document reader will have to be reprogrammed for each new document. For each new document. So those are issues that we have to look at. Then we have the mark ink character recognition. Another well-known document reader is the MICRI, and you can see the photo of the MICRI is here. So now this for the OMRI. Then the other one, I think the MICRI is down here. No, I don't have a photo, but I think this is for the OMRI. So we go to the MICRI. So MICRI, which is the magnetic character recognition, known document is another known document reader, and this one recognizes characters from magnetic ink. So characters are printed in ink containing iron oxide. When the document is passed in the reader, the ink is magnetized so that the magnetic pattern formed by the characters can be identified. There are 3 MICRI fonts. We have the E13B, CMC7, E13B. So these are the things we're talking about. So the fonts were developed in the United States for the American Bank Association and have been adopted by British banks. Each character is made as unique as possible in order to avoid misrepresentation. Magnetic ink characters can be overwritten with ordinary ink without affecting their reliability for interpretation by the reader/sorter. If any attempt is made to alter magnetic ink character, the subsequent mutilation is detected when the character is being interpreted by the reader/sorter. So the E13B consists of 10 numerical characters of 0 to 9. and 4 symbols to signify the meaning of the fields. So we have also what we call the character magnetic code, which we call it CMC7. This font is the conventional standard, and although the characters are encoded in magnetic ink, their structure is altogether different from the E13B. So the characters are formed from a gapped font code consisting of several vertical bars. Each character is identified by the format of the bars, which create a 6-bit code. Each bar is separated by a gap. A wide gap equals 1, and a narrow gap equals 0. The magnetic ink character reader recognizes each character by the variable distance between the vertical bars. The CMC7 consists of numeric characters 0 to 9, 26 alphabet characters, and 5 special symbols. Using micro devices, usually micro devices use font E13B, which contains only 14 characters. So the main applications are in some local, authorities for payment rates by installment, the banking industry. In a check, the space below the signature lines is left so that the amount can be added in MICRI after the check has been given to the bank. So the check can be entered, can then enter the bank computer system for processing. So the function of the MICRI device are not to read and recognize the characters at the bottom of the check. Once the details of the customer's branch amounts are known, they can be used by the computer to update individual bank accounts. So the vast number of checks which banks have to handle require the use of some sort of document reading device. MICRI device can read up to 2,500 checks per minute. So advantages of MICRI: checks may be roughly handled, folded, smeared, and stamped, but they can still be used with a high degree of accuracy. Processing is speeded because checks can be fed directly into input devices. People can easily read the magnetic ink character reader. This is the MICRI. You can see the diagram there. Only the 10 digits and the 4 specific characters needed for bank processing are used. So that's the disadvantage. Then another disadvantage is no alphabetic characters are available. So this is the MICRI device, and you can see it clearly on your screen. As we conclude, the sharing on document readers, it is important to understand that there are 2 types of optical readers and magnetic ink reader. It's important. So I want to ask you to kindly give me the difference. Write on your chat box, what's the difference between OCR and MICRI? The differences. Can you give me the differences? Can you answer these questions in this activity? Give the answers online. Give us answers online. In for that particular assignment. The assignment is very clear. Under the MICRI. We just talked about it. So I want to see if you have been. Can you give us the answers? Chat box. Chat box. I can see if you type, I'll see it. OCR, optical character recognition, and MICRI, which is the magnetic ink character recognition. Can you give me the difference? And you can see the statements there. Hey guys, I'm waiting for your answers. I'm waiting for your answers. Kindly give me your answers.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yes. The scan that scans the page comprised of splits.
Sitakuwa na dictation. I don't know.
Which device is optical and which one is magnetic? Those are the questions I'm asking. Which one scans any kind of printed document and which one scans specific formats in checks? So which one? So those are the differences I want to see come out. Then you can discover that one supports a variety of fonts and then the other one supports a few. The EB13s and the CMC7, which one supports? So those are the things I want you to hear. So you need to tell me. I think I'm already guiding you on what to do. Even the difference just starts from the way that is what does OCR stand for? And what does MICRI stand for? What about their scanning? The device type. Is it optical? Is it magnetic? So you will note, like, for example, OCR is optical, MICRI is magnetic. So those are the things. Then usage. Scan data in OCR is used to edit or print. Then scan data is used to process checks. That is in MICRI. I think you need to note that. So I think I can see you have an idea. So keep doing it. So let's move to the next thing. We can't waste time on that. We move. I think you have an idea already of what I wanted. So the pointing devices. Now we go to the pointing devices. These are pointing devices that are used. Pointing and touching devices. The devices that have variety of uses complementary to keyboard and are of particular value when used in conjunction with the graphical displays. In few cases, they can be used to move the cursor about the screen. So a mouse, a computer mouse is a pointing device that detects two-dimensional motion relative to a surface. This motion is typically transferred into the motion of a pointer on a display, which allows for fine control of the graphical user interface. Physically, A mouse consists of an object held in one's hand, with one or more buttons. Mice often also feature other elements, such as touch surfaces and wheels, which enable additional control and dimensional impact. As the mouse is moved about the desktop, the cursor moves about the screen. So a button on top of the mouse can be pressed when the desired position is reached. The motion of the mouse is sensed by a rolling ball, which is mounted in the underside of the user and in contact with the desktop. So this is a mouse, and you can see what a mouse is. Then we have a trackball. There are some laptops which have something like a trackball, a ball that just moves. Some laptops, not mouse. Some laptops have something called a trackball. So what I'll ask you on your own time, just to find out what the advantages and disadvantages of using the mouse. What are the advantages and disadvantages? That one is on your own. Find out. Then another commonly used pointing device is the trackball. A trackball is really a validation of the mouse. The ball is on the top side of the trackball rather than on the underside, as in the mouse. The ball is moved by passing the palm of the hand over it. So trackballs are intended for use where desktop space is limited or not available. For example, when using a laptop computer away from a desk, a trackball does not require a flat surface to operate. So you can see. Now, what's the difference between a mouse? Can you type? What's the difference between a mouse and a trackball? Type on your screen. What's the difference between a mouse and a trackball? I've just talked about a mouse. What's the difference? Kindly tap on your screen. The difference between a mouse and a trackball. Type on your screen the difference between a mouse and a trackball. Kindly type. What's the difference between a mouse and a trackball? Difference between a mouse and a trackball. Wait, type on your screen. I'm waiting.
The ground we use to move across the surface. The surface of the sensor.
Yeah, I can see. Very good answers. I see Joseph, see Levi Juma, but not the trackball. Levi Juma, the trackball has A, not U. Not a track with A. It's U. It's with U. It's with A. Now I can see Violeta Cheng. I can see Victor Cheriot. I can see Estera. I can see Harriet. I can see Benson. I can see Abigail Kim Chai. I can see Grace. I can see Bernice. I can see Robina Omweri. I can see Quality Kiplagat Kurgat. I can see Michael Wandera. Naomi. So keep typing. Keep typing. Keep typing. Keep typing. Wow, I think I can see you have an idea of what we really want. I have an idea of what we really want, so we move to the next thing. We move to the next thing. I can see you have an idea. So we have something called a joystick. It's another pointing device. Another pointing device that we discussed, the joystick. This is a handheld device used for playing computer games. A joystick is an alternative to a mouse. They have proved more popular for computer games than they have for serious applications. So the joystick can be moved left, right, up, or down. Move the cursor. It also has a button used like that on a mouse. The movement of a joystick is detected by electrical contacts to be made. So this is a joystick. Then we have a light pen. It's another pointing device. Can be used to choose a display option. The pen consists of a photocell placed in a small tube. As the user moves the tip of the pen over the screen, it's able to detect the light coming from a limited field of view. So the light from the screen causes the photocell to response is transmitted to the processor, which can identify the many options, thus triggering the photocell. So the light pen is also useful for graphics work. The light pen is also used to draw directly on the screen. So that's the light pen. We have light pen is something that you have phones that you can write on using this pen. I think there are phones that have that feature where you can write, you can sign, you can type. So the light pen can also be used on our computer, on our smartphones, which are also bright. The intelligence phones that, of course, because that's why they're called smart. Then we have what we call touch screen. I think you have touch screen from the current screens can also be used for input. The touch screen can be able to input. When you want to type a number, you just type on the touch screen and it works. So that's also an input device. That's another one. And a touch screen already you have on your phone. So that one you can't find it to be very difficult. The other input device, input systems that you have is also what we call a microphone. You can also talk. You can also input. You can also talk. There are also software that when you have installed, you can just talk to the computer and it types what you say. Sometimes even in media, people talk and automatically it converts to text. So that voice input is very important. So we have that. Then we also have something called a digitizer. This is a device that can be moved over a drawing or an image to convert the picture to digital data, which can be stored in a display. It can be stored displayed on a CRT screen or printed out of paper. So these digitizers mainly are used in areas like lands, the Ministry of Lands, where we have maps of land, where architectures also use them, but mostly in the Ministry of Lands, we get what a digitizer is used. Then we have what we call a scanner. Sorry? So we have scanners. The scanners consist of two components. First, a data capturing system illuminates the document so that the image can be recorded. Then we have an image processing subsystem. Uses sophisticated software to convert the optical images into digital form and store the data in a file. Unfortunately, scanners often make errors that require manual correction. So the data files invariably require some editing at a CAD terminal, computer-aided design terminal. That's what we call CAD. CAD is computer-aided design terminal. So handheld devices, so there are two types. The handheld device, which is moved across the picture, being scanned. Then the flatbed scanner, where the picture is laid flat and the image is captured. So like for example, what we do in the photocopy, you scan Some photocopiers have that scan ability, some don't have. But that's the scanner. Then a point of sale system. A point of sale system, when you go to the supermarket, the one that has a barcode reader, you put a barcode, it gives you, you put the quantity, the teller is able to get all the details of what is selling you. I think something you have seen in the supermarket. That's the whole thing is what we call a point of sale. The computers plus the scanner that comes up with, it comes up. It makes that. Now we have said here very clear in activity 3 that one now you have to read on your own. Read and make notes on barcode readers and symbol tags. So kindly read and make notes on that. That's my request. So kindly read and make notes. So we go to processing devices. The procedure that transforms raw data into useful information is called processing. To perform this transformation, the computer uses two components, the processor and the memory. So the memory is like the brain of the computer. It organizes and carries out instructions that come from either the user or the software. In a personal computer, the processor usually consists of one or more specialized chip called the microprocessor. So the microprocessor are also called the central processing units. So the central processing unit, the CPU, receives data from input devices, processes it, and prepares information for output devices. Data could be entered into the computer with cards, terminal, or data collection devices. Data could be output on printers, CRTs, or visual display terminals. So we have the CPU, the central processing unit, which has the memory units, the ALU, which is the arithmetic logic unit, the control unit, of course, then what is coming in so that it can process what is the input and what comes out is output. So the main functions of the central processing unit is to perform all the processing, including all computations, to control the sequence of operations, give commands to all parts of the computer system, control the use of main memory storage to store data and instructions. So CPU consists of three components: the control unit, the arithmetic logic unit, and the primary storage. So it's very important for you to look at the control unit does. Control unit, what the arithmetic logic unit does. So it's very important for us to look at that. And once we look at that, it will be very important that we look at the different, we'll also look at the different registers and be able even to do some calculations so that at the end of the day, we can be able to understand what happens in such a computer. So we can now continue. So let's look at now what we call, let's now look at what we call the, so control unit. As we start this discussion, we might say that the control unit is the major part of the CPU, that's the central processing unit. And the control unit essentially governs all the computer activities and monitors the execution of programs. It coordinates and controls the computer system much more as the brain directs the body. So the control unit executes program instruction to be fetched from the main memory via the memory data register and placed into the instruction register. So IR is the instruction register, memory data register, MDR. So when main memory storage receives an appropriate signal from the control unit, it transfers the instruction whose address is specified in the memory address register. MAR is the memory address register. into the processor's memory data register via the data bus. So the control unit interprets the instruction in the instruction register and causes the instruction to be executed by sending command signals to the appropriate hardware devices. E.g., it might cause main storage to transfer data into the memory data register, or it may cause the ALU, which is the arithmetic logic unit, to perform specific operations on data registers. So the cycle is then repeated with the next instruction. So when you type on your phone, you type, because your phone is also a computer. When you type on your phone, there is a signal that is sent, so that at the end of the day, the control unit says that this guy has typed, and you have to display the number he has typed. If you type 0, if she types 0, or you type 0, that's what you will see. So, and that's what happens, that the control unit actually controls the entire operation. So we have what we call the ALU, the arithmetic logic unit. So the next part of the CPU that is great importance, especially during processing, is the arithmetic logic unit, and has two main functions. It is responsible for performing all arithmetic add, subtract, multiply, divide. It performs all logic operations, e.g. testing whether two data items match. Data items to be processed are taken from the main storage as directed by the control unit and passed via the memory data register into the data register. In the ALU, where they are stored, this step is referred to as loading data into the data register from the main storage. It should be noted that at this point, the location address of this data will have been specified in the instruction register, from where they will have been transferred to the memory address register prior to loading the data. So the ALU then performs the required operations on the data as directed by the control unit. The ALU leaves the results in a data register. While the ALU is carrying out an operation, it may make use of other registers of its own, such as the operand and result register. For example, it may build up a result as a result in the results register before sending the complete results to a designated data register. The results are taken from data register and placed into main memory, again under the direction of the control unit. This step is referred to as storing data. So the primary storage unit, one might ask themselves, so where does all the data we introduce in the computer go? It will be interesting to learn that computer has storage unit that stores all programs and data. So memory of the computer. Memory or storage capacity is one of the important components of a computer. Any storage unit of a computer is classified on the basis of the following criteria. One is the access time. This is the time that requires to locate and retrieve stored data from storage unit in response to program instructions. Then we have the storage capacity. It is the amount of data that can be stored in the storage unit. This cost per bit of storage. Then we have the units of memory. The computer stores a character in the storage cells with a binary 0 and 1 mechanism. Thus, the basic unit of memory is a bit, the digits 0 and 1. To store a character requires 8 bits or 1 byte. This is called the word length of the storage unit. Hence, the storage capacity of the computer is measured in the number of words it can store and is expressed in terms of bytes. So the different units of measurements are these, and note very carefully because we want to do some calculations here. Be very careful. So we are saying that 8 bits is equals to 1 byte, and 210 bits or 1024 bytes make what we call 1 kilobyte. 1024 bytes make 1 kilobyte, or 210 bytes, 210 make 1 kilobyte. So 1024 bytes. Just note that 1024 bytes make 1 kilobyte. Leave the other 210. Just go to 1024 bytes make 1 kilobyte. And if you have 1024 kilobytes, it's equals to 1 megabyte. And if you have 1024 megabytes, you come up with 1 gigabyte. If you have 1024 gigabytes, you make 1 terabyte. And if you have 1024 terabyte, you make 1 tetrabyte. So that's the capacity. Now, mathematics. Mathematics, I want you to do this math very fast. Everybody chukua kalamu.
Bwana. Swali ngumu.
We are waiting for the questions.
What is the sisikia nini question?
Huyu jamaa analeta question aonyeshi sasa.
Excuse, naomba swali.
Wamesema what is memory storage capacity. Amount of data can be stored in a storage unit. Question.
Mzee mwenye amesikia swali atuambie.
Ama disconnect na.
Wapi swali? Oya swali bwana. Tunangoja hadi lini? Kwani ameenda wapi?
Hiyo nimeisha. Nasikia nimeisha. Kwani hiyo swali imeenda?
Kwani umepotea?
Ngoja mwalimu bwana ameenda kiasi.
Ameenda break.
Oya ngoja.
You're not getting the question. Sorry, I've just discovered you're not getting the question. I was asking the question and you didn't get. Sorry. So you didn't get me. Where did you not get me? Where the last time you got me online? Hello? Did you get this part of the processing unit? Hello?
Just start from the question.
But did you get this part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Control unit you got.
Yes.
So the only thing is now here where we are talking about the question, where we are saying we have given the conversion, the storage. I say 8 bits is equals to 1 byte. Then 24 bytes is equals to 1 kilobyte. Then 24 kilobytes is equals to 1 megabyte. And then 24 megabytes is equals to 1 gigabyte. Now my question is here, and I want to repeat. I'm saying that Kamau has 10 million kilobytes of data. Kamau wants to buy a flash disk. What capacity of flash disk should Kamau buy in terms of GB? Equal to?
GB.
That's the question. Kamau has 10 million kilobytes of data. Kamau wants to buy a flash disk. What capacity of flash disk will Kamau buy in gigabytes? Is that question clear?
No.
1024 equals 1 gigabyte. About 10 million.
Now the question here, it's very clear. If Kamau has 10 million kilobytes, and we know that 1024 kilobytes is equal to 1 megabyte. Now we want to convert. You can start by converting the kilobytes into megabytes. Then from megabytes convert them into gigabytes. That's what we are saying. And I can see John Mafula I think is almost there. Got what we are saying. John Mafula. Oh, is it me or something?
9.5.
It's 10 million. Divide by 1020.
Na hapa hivi ni 1024.
So I can see those who are saying 9.53 something, 9.536. 9.5, no, it cannot be 9.5 because it's below the capacity. Those who are saying 9.6 approximate, but give me the exact answer. The capacity should be 9.
What about 1 million? What about?
Yes, that is it. I think you're getting the math. I can see Mary, you've gotten it.
10 kilobytes times 1024.
I can see Harriet has gotten it. Ando has gotten it. If Tom Mark, getting it clearly? Yeah, I can see Peter Cheng, you've gotten it. Sewell, you've gotten it. Cherotrade, Duncan, Dennis Mahanu. Yeah, 10 GB. The exact answer, of course, 10 GB is also right. But yeah, that is good. So what we are saying is that you need to know the calculations. You need to know the calculations. It's very important to know the calculations. If I tell you that, so you need to know how to interchange and know how to get the answers. So we move on. We move to the next thing, which is the storage capacity of a CPU. So I think that's enough. I think people have gotten that concept of calculations. So know the calculations. So if you how you can get from GB back to kilobytes, how you can get from bits into terabytes. So know how to play around and know how to convert based on that formula. But I can see you've gotten the concept. So be ready for that. Just be ready for that. In case it's asked anywhere. So the storage capacity of the CPU is called the primary storage unit. Over these years, the storage unit has been called the main memory, internal storage, primary storage, or memory. So primary storage provides the capacity to store software in form of operating system. So application programs and utility routines, etc., in addition to the data input for processing, is stored in the memory as the results of processing until they are output, either to back-in storage or to an output device, such as a printer or a video. So next, we are going to discuss the types of primary storage. The types of primary storage, they are the core storage and the semiconductor storage. So we go back a little bit to understand the history of core storage. During the 15 years between 1960 and 1975, the dominant computer design used tiny rings or cores of magnetizable material in storage section. So current flowing in one direction produces a zero-bit state, since the core permanently retained its magnetic state in the absence of current, its current. So it was a non-volatile storage media. So core storage was popular for 15 years because it was safe, durable, and reasonably fast. But the new storage device that appeared in 1970s offered even faster performance at a lower cost, and so the popularity of the cores quickly faded. Semiconductor memory, now this one is different. Virtually all computers made today use semiconductor elements in their primary storage sections. It is produced from silicon chips and is based on two types of technologies: the faster and more expensive bipolar semiconductor chip, and the slower and less expensive metal oxide semiconductor chips. So there are two types of semiconductor memory. We have the random access memory. This is the first type of semiconductor memory. These are referred to as random. These are referred to as random. Just a minute, I'm coming.
Tutaipata tu kama mashine.
Mbona sisikii?
So let us continue. So we have the semiconductor memory. Now this one is different. Virtually all computers today use semiconductor elements in the primary storage section. It is produced from the silicon chips and is based on two types of technologies. The faster and more expensive bipolar semiconductor chip and slower and less expensive metal oxide semiconductors. There are two types of memories. We have the random access memory. This type of semiconductor memory, they are referred to as random access chip because any of the locations on a chip can be randomly selected and used to directly store and retrieve data and instructions. This type of memory can be both read to retrieve information and written to store information. So RAM chips may be classified as dynamic or static. The storage cell circuits dynamic RAM chips contain transistors that act in much the same way as mechanical on and off switch, capacitors that's capable of storing electric charge. So depending on the switch action of the transistor, the capacitor either contains no charge or does not hold a charge. Since the charge on the capacitor tends to be off, provision is made to periodically regenerate or refresh the storage charge. A dynamic RAM thus provides volatile storage. That is, the data stored are lost in the event of power failure. Then we have the static RAM chips, are also volatile storage device, but as they are supplied with power, they require no special regenerator circuits to retain the stored data. In real sense, the contents of the static RAM remain stable forever as long as power is available. So in discussion groups of now, the main important thing, there's no discussion, but we are just saying what's the difference between static and dynamic RAM. Kindly sit down and look at it individually, not as a group, but as a learner. As you go through the notes, make sure that you know the differences between the static and dynamic RAM. That one I'm leaving it to you. Look at it. But we also have the read-only memory, which is called a ROM. Is a read-only memory that can only be produced by the manufacturer. The contents of the ROM are physically fixed. Kindly, I'm in class. The contents of ROM are physically fixed and cannot be accessed to alter them as they can be done with RAM. So microprograms control instructions that cause the machine to perform certain operations are usually stored in ROM. So the contents of ROM are not stored when, are not destroyed when the computer is switched off, as ROM is non-volatile because its contents have been burned in during manufacturer's ROM also stores the operating system. So that's very important to know. Like for example, your phone, you have different operating systems, those who have stored Android, those who have Windows, depending on your phone. So all that is in the ROM. So that's what, then we have the programmable read-only memory. These are variations of the ROM, i.e. the PROM, which stands for programmable read-only memory, whereas the ordinary ROM is a pre-programmed, ROM is pre-programmed at the factory. So PROM can be programmed by the user, and a special device is required for putting the bit pattern into a PROM chip. This is called a ROM programmer. So the other thing is, what's the disadvantage of a prom? So find out. That one is your assignment, individual. Then we have what we call the erasable, programmable, read-only memory. This one is erasable, read-only memory, where data is recorded on this type of memory. It is the same as ordinary ROM in its behavior, but if the user requires to change the contents of the chip, an ultraviolet light is used to revert all the cells to ones. So new data or programs can then be written on the chip. So what are the disadvantages of EEPROM? Again, that one I leave for you. Then we have the last one where we call it the electrically erasable, programmable, read-only memory. Is a user modifiable read-only memory that can be erased and reprogrammed repeatedly through the application of higher than normal electric charge. So unlike the EEPROM chips, EEPROMs do not need to be removed from the computer to be modified. However, an EEPROM chip has to be erased and reprogrammed in its entirety, not selectively. It also has a lifetime, has a limited life. That is, the number of times it can be reprogrammed is limited to tens or hundreds of thousands of times. In an EEPROM, that is frequently reprogrammed while the computer is in use. So the life of the EEPROM can be an important design consideration. The other one we have is what we call the flash EEPROM. Now the difference is that the flash EEPROM is a type of non-volatile memory that erases data in units called blocks. A block stored on flash memory chip must be erased before data can be written or programmed to the microchip. So flash memory retains data for an extended period of time, whether a flash equipped device is powered on or off. So next, we are moving to registers. To understand the above components, control unit and ALU of the CPU, how the above components, to understand how the above components, it's i.e. the control unit and ALU of the CPU works. First, we need to first understand the registers, which are special parts, temporary storage locations within the processor or and other devices within the computer system. They are quite separate from the location in main storage, although they can be similar in structure. So two types of registers and their function. Registers may be classified into two main groups: register out of the processor and register in the processor. So we are going to consider the register out of the processor. And out of the processor, we have the I think we have already talked about when we are talking about the control unit. We mentioned memory data register, and I think can you quickly make
Bundles zangu zimeisha.
Watu walifika lini? Kama wananisikia. Tulifanya fika lini hapo kwenye kipindi?
Haleluya. Mbona unasaidia? Wewe.
Nifungua mix.
Hadi wanakusikia huko.
141 hakuna wapi.
Mwalimu aachie.
Bundle zimeisha.
Kumbe niko na hizo notes zote, naweza fuatilia nikisikia. Sasa nimeenda
Nataka tuongee.
Inakaa hii wataset bwana. Lakini ulisema waset na hii nini? Sijui hii nimepata.
Mtoe kelele huko.
sauti ni ya mecha.
Mwenye ako na swali si anitumie bana. Oya. Wewe mwenye unanisikia wewe.
Nani?
Wewe unanisikia? Oya, unanisikia?
Minus 2 plus 2 zinaisha.
Wala hapa chini. -2 -2.
Minus 0 minus 4.
Ito minus nini?
Wewe una minus nini basi? Unitumie kwa swali.
Square zinatoa hiyo.
Ninyi mtu minus nini?
So itakuja x.
Negative haina. Asa alikuwa amesema nini kwa notes?
Wewe basi leo. Usielewi ndio zingine.
Alikuwa amesema yenye haina square root.
Oya, kaka. Oya kaka.
Unatoa nje na unasema. Najua inasikia.
Oya kaka.
Acha ujinga.
So nijibu bana kaka aje.
Acha ujinga.
Ana jina nuwa mimi.
Cheki nitumie kwa hiyo swali yenye waliweka hiyo.
Gani hiyo?
Yaani wewe pia hujafanya hiyo swali ama?
Sasa.
Thank you very important.
Kumbe unajuana na Serule.
Wavuchinga hayo square. Unaona? Nafaa fanya square root yani. Na fanya square root yani unajua hii inaitwa nani?
Lakini nikiongea hiyo niambie jina lako ndio itaandika.
Naomba swali. Naomba swali.
Kama watu hawasema wanokuona.
Mbona mtuku?
Still next week. Alafu sasa siku haini ni tuende tufanye discussion. Kidogo ya KUC ya nini ya CR1
Chukui.
Inabidi nianze kujua hizo jamaa. Ni CR10 113 130 ni lecture aba mute wapi? Uketi kitu kabisa.
Sijui klasi ingine iko saa ngapi. Ninaona hapa watu na jibizana ati no, hakuna klasi.
Nani ametuzi mwingine ya sikufiti?
Nijaa makamasi.
Kitu gani? Jamani jisini yake kweli.
Hapana, si nini.
Ni nini?
Unasema ametoka.
We leme kina Matito, achana kelele wewe.
So at least you've mentioned some of the registers you have. I can see where are these registers? You are not mentioning. You have not mentioned the registers, you know. And I talked about instruction register, memory data add register. So let's continue. So there are registers out of the processors. And this we have the memory data register. All data and instruction pass in and out of the processor through the register. Then we have the memory buffer register. All data and instruction pass in and out of the memory through this register. So the memory buffer register, the memory data register. Then we have the memory address register. Prior to each transfer between the processors, the MDR, the main storage MBR, which is the memory bus register. So we have the MBR and we have the MDR. So it's important for you to know the difference. MBR, the memory buffer register. So prior to each transfer between the processors, the MDR and the main storage memory buffer register, the exact source or destination of data in the main storage must be specified. This is done by loading the appropriate location address in the memory address register. So main memory receives this instruction receives this address information through the address bus. It also receives control signals from the processor via the control bus, which is able to decode into commands for it to save or retrieve data. So we have the data buffer register, another important register, the data buffer register, on which input-output units connected to the processor via bus also have these registers, which serve as a similar purpose to the MBR, to the memory buffer register. Then the register in the processor, these are constructed so that contents can be accessed and altered much faster than the contents of locations of main memory. So we have the instruction register. This is the first register you encounter in the processor where the next executable instruction is first taken from main memory via the MDR and placed. Once in the instruction register, the instructions can be rapidly decoded and executed. So the instruction register is also sometimes called the current instruction register. So then we have the data register, the register in which the ALU, the register is within the ALU. The register is in the ALU in which data to be processed is placed from the main memory via the MDR, memory data register. This required arithmetic or logic operation is then rapidly performed. The ALU will provide the results in one data register from which it can be taken and stored in main storage. Status register. This is used by the control unit as a means of detecting conditions which have occurred, such as the ALU detecting the arithmetic error of dividing by 0. So primary components of the processor will now be considered in detail. So now we go to the, we actually consider them in detail, but it's very important for you to know all this. So can you list any 3 types of processor registers and state their functions? Can you quickly, can you state any 3 and state their functions? That's something that you should need to know. So you should be able to list the types of processor registers and state their functions. So next we are going to, that one I'm leaving to you because of time. We move to the next thing. I know we have a few minutes before we end the class. We have another 20 minutes before we end the class. 20 minutes. So we are just finishing in another 10 minutes. Or we start from the bubble. Next time we start from the bubble register. Let's start from the bubble register. I think let's just start from the memory. Let us start from bubble memory. So next time, let's start from bubble memory. Have a nice week. We'll start another class so that I can prepare for the next class. Let me just give you time so that you can also prepare for the next class, for those who are going for the next classes. But within the remaining time, make sure that you handle so many things have been said. 1, log into your learning management system, the e-learning system. Week 1, we have a small assignment. Make sure you do it. ABCD assignment. Make sure you just do it at the end of that week. Having said that, and without much ado, I think we end the class there. I wish you well. I think we'll meet next week, same time, same venue, depending on which venue will be. Even if you'll be at home, we'll still meet online. For those who don't know me, I think they've not seen my photo. I think I'm here. That's Peter Baraza now. Those who don't know me, those who are new in the class, I think that's my face. I'm not showing my face, but I'm the one taking you through this course. So in case of any issues, in case of any questions, you want to consult me in case you have a problem, kindly don't worry. Kindly look for time and talk. Without the end of the class, and have a good week. Until next week, I'm your lecturer, Peter Baraza. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wanakuita
Katika kelele na jinsi.
ogopa.
Napiga kelele.
Anakuja na kami hivyo tu.
Nani huyo? Kama tuende daftari.
Na tumekafunga ndio tumonchoke hivi.
Imetengenezwa.